All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update, and we're going to look at some things we have not looked at before. Most specifically, I want to look at Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And of course, everybody, please smash the like button. It helps us out a lot. Also, feel free to leave a comment below, and you will see in the pinned comment a link to our free Discord. So you're welcome to join us over there. We'd love to have you. I'm going to look at the Bitcoin miner big board for a minute, but it is Sunday, and I did an update on Saturday and Friday, so really obviously nothing's changed, no trading here. I just want to remind everybody, or if you missed the other videos, you can take a look. Friday was a red day pretty much from top to bottom, with the exception of Wolf, which had a green day, but Wolf was very oversold, so it's still very near its all-time lows. Almost every single one of these stocks is at or near its 52-week low. Some of them are at or near their all-time lows. So it has been a very tough run for the Bitcoin miners. We had a couple of goals in mind for this weekend, so let's look at the Bitcoin charts and see how we did versus what we were hoping to do. All right, this is the Bitcoin chart on the 30-minute time frame, so each one of these candles is 30 minutes. You'll see this green candle is where we are right now. It's late in the day on Sunday. As always, there's an orange line from the last time the market closed, which was Friday. So this is where Bitcoin was trading when the US equity markets closed on Friday. So you'll see at the moment, this new 30-minute green candle is actually above this line. We've been above the line for a while, and then we dipped down below. A little bit of sideways activity. However, some very important activity this weekend. We talked about this line right here, and we've been talking about this for weeks now. We've got a line at around $37,400. This is a red line. This is our do not cross line. So late Saturday night, we finally did test this line, and it was almost a perfect test. You'll see even this 30-minute candle only wicked down to this, which means it was there for only just a few minutes, but it did hit that line, and it immediately rebounded above. So that is a successful test of this line. That was the first test that we passed. Now, it's entirely possible we test this line a few more times. I'm hoping that was it, because it actually took quite a long time on the way down to even get down and test that line. So hopefully we bounce off and head back in the other direction, but obviously it's too soon to tell that. However, one of the key things we said we needed to do this weekend was to have a successful test of this line at 37,400. So that was accomplished. So that was big. So this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, and you'll see this purple line dates back to April 18th, so that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. We keep gravitating back to this line over that period of time. On April 26th, we got to about 37,700, and that is the closest we ever got to this line. But here on Saturday night, we did test the 37,400 mark, and according to this chart, we got down to $37,401. So that held very nicely, bounced off of that, and has been above it ever since. Okay, so if we look at a little bit broader period of time, you'll see back here on March 13th, which was about a month and a half ago, that is the last time we tested this line. And it held, and we had a very nice run up off of that, all the way up to around 48,000, just under 48,000. And so that was about a 28% run up. You can see subsequent to that, we've given all of that back, retesting the same line here. One of the keys that we're looking for is not to go below this line, because on the larger scale, this here represented a low. So we do not want to set a lower low. So that is why this line has been critically important. We did go test it, and again, I am encouraged. Having said that, we're not out of the woods. We are still extremely close to this line, and the indicators are still very, very neutral. We can't really say we've bottomed out, but we can say we had a successful test off of that line, and that was very important. So there was some other things we wanted to try to do. Here's Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. This is what I've been calling Plan Z for zoom out. So just about 4 days ago, we broke out of this channel on the downside, which was coming in at around $40,000. So we broke under that, and since we did that, we've had two key objectives. Number one, we did not want to cross this red line at 37,000, and that held up. That was the first thing we wanted to do. The second thing we want to do is get back into our trading channel. So you'll see, in order to do that today, we would have to get to around 40,100. So I'm going to say about 40,200 really to comfortably get into that channel. So you can see that would be about a 4.5 to 5% increase from where we're sitting right now. That's not very bad. That's really 1 day of activity or less for Bitcoin. We still remain in striking distance. resistance, very much similar to yesterday. However, we're one step better than yesterday because we had a successful test of this line of support and we're having a green candle. So those are 2 steps in the right direction. If we could get back into this channel in a few days, then I would not consider this pattern broken. However, the more days we take to do that, the closer we are to having to say that that pattern is broken. So it would be nice to see in the next 1 or 2 or 3 days at the most to get back into this trading range. Obviously, the other scenario is that we retest this line and it does not hold, in which case the next line down is at about 34,000, and there's really a channel from about 33,000 to 34,000 that we traded between in January and February of 2022. So that would be the next line of support if this line of support doesn't hold up. So those are our 2 scenarios. On the last run, we hit about 48,000, but obviously this is an ascending channel. So right now, if in order to get back to it, we need to be over 50,000. You know, in a few days, it's going to be 51,000 potentially. So that's my price target, 50 to 51,000 if we can turn this around, or 33 to 34,000 if we can't. I want to show you one more thing to show you why I'm saying everything is so incredibly neutral. All right, quickly, we can look at the RSI in the daily time frame. It's at 40, and you can see, you know, for a month now, it's been trading sideways. My key is it stayed under 50. It stayed well over 30. So it really is just in limbo. So the RSI is giving me nothing here. So the MACD is doing something I have not seen it do, and I traced this back several years. If I zoom in, you'll see typically this line is fairly fluid. Every once in a while, there's a bump in this line. So starting on April 17th, you'll see stops being smooth right here and starts to be jagged and bumpy, and we have really not seen that. So you can see this more easily in the histogram where you go from dark red to light red or pink. Typically, that turns us the next phase into green. However, we did not have the bullish crossover and we went back into red, and now we're back into pink. So if that sounds like a lot of back and forth, that is why my videos over the last week or 2 have been saying that we are extremely neutral. This is not bearish activity. It's not bullish activity. It's jagged sideways activity that you will be hard pressed to find on the MACD on the daily time frame going back as far as you want. So we're caught in a point here. I do believe we are on the verge of breaking one way or the other. It's not going to go sideways like this forever in all likelihood. So we've talked about the ranges that we're looking for. The MACD does seem to keep making a run at having a bullish crossover. So at some point, I will hope that it has a bullish crossover. And then at that point, we'll just have to see how far we can run, because some of these, like this one, was extremely small period of time. This one was much bigger. So that we'll have to figure out next. There's a lot of conversation about how Bitcoin is tied to the NASDAQ, and I'm going to show you some evidence that lately that's been true. And then I'm going to show you some evidence that over time, I do not think that that is true. So I think this is a temporary trend in my opinion. It has been a very strong trend for sure. I do think they will diverge at one point sooner than later, and let me show you why. This is the chart of the NASDAQ on the 4-hour time frame, and this is about the last 5 months. So you can see in this time frame, we actually have been trading very similarly to the NASDAQ. This orange line is Bitcoin's movement in comparison to the NASDAQ. So even though sometimes Bitcoin's movement is exaggerated, it seems to be moving in the same direction. Really, since the beginning of April, this has been very close. There were a couple of over-exaggerations for Bitcoin, but then by April 18th, I mean, you can hardly distinguish the NASDAQ line from the Bitcoin line. So this is the period of time that it's been almost mirrored. And that is also the period of time that the Bitcoin miners have been underperforming dramatically. So talk of these being correlated is absolutely valid. This chart shows the correlation, there's no doubt. However, this is a small window of time. This is 4 months. So it depends on the time frame that you look at. So from time to time, I think that Bitcoin and the NASDAQ line up and correlate. From time to time, they don't. Let me show you a larger time frame. Okay, this is Bitcoin going back to January of 2021. So this is about 16 months ago. So there's some massive divergences in this period. So in the past, we saw exaggerations of a move in the same direction. However, here you're going to see from February until May of 2021, the NASDAQ had this down dip and Bitcoin hit its all-time high and just absolutely ran away from the NASDAQ. And then here, starting in May, as the NASDAQ started to recover nicely, Bitcoin started crashing to its low on the year on July 19th. So from there, it did start to move very similarly, although you can see this is extremely exaggerated. The NASDAQ was up a little and Bitcoin went ballistic and got up to 69,000, but at least that was in the same direction. Here were 2 time frames where it was the exact opposite, and then I'm going to scroll out just a little and show you why really I think all of this is absolutely very short-term stuff. All right, here's the same chart going back to October of 2020. So that's just bringing it back 2 months earlier. You will now see that these lines start to have very little to do with each other. In this period of time, the NASDAQ is up 16% and Bitcoin is up 277%. So again, there are times from time to time where these two line up and move similarly. However, over the long haul, Bitcoin has outperformed the NASDAQ by a massive amount, and it happens in runs. So, this will last. These two will be correlated until they're not correlated, which is what happened in October of 2020. They separated massively. So we're waiting for another one of those moments where Bitcoin has a run. I can find no reason why Bitcoin would be correlated to the NASDAQ just on a fundamentals basis. So I'm not denying that it is. I'm just saying I think it's temporary. So this is a look at my big picture. This is why I think Bitcoin is going to break. It's going to break to the upside. But right now it's definitely tied to the NASDAQ and it's been sluggish. So I just wanted to go through that real quick and show you my thoughts on that. So that's my Bitcoin update for Sunday. Thanks so much. We got trading tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow for a Bitcoin and a Bitcoin miner update. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. So I hope you had a good weekend. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.